Hello everybody. We will take a look at this nice match. Carlsen versus Lagrave from World Blitz Championship. It's RUY LOPEZ. I'm doing RUY LOPEZ now. So let's check it out, guys. So we have e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop to b5. RUY LOPEZ on the board, and we have Lagrave with white pieces and Carlsen with black. Let's see what happens. A6, bishop retreats, knight comes out. Some kind of Berlin defense from Carlsen. Lagrave castles, develops dark square bishop, rook to e file, pawn attacks the bishop, bishop retreats, and castles. And immediately striking a4 on the flank, trying to get the a file for his rook, for Lagrave's rook. Alright, this is all pretty standard stuff, guys. So it's nothing new. Let's see, but it's really interesting match. It's blitz and it turned out to be really interesting. Alright, let's continue. Bishop to b7, d3, fortifying the pawn. The same thing for Carlsen. Now knight to bd2. The common maneuver in RUY LOPEZ is to drop the knight to f square, then to g square, even potentially to f5 square, where he can join the attack. Let's see what happens here. Rook comes to e file also. Also, the thing in RUY LOPEZ, often this bishop come to f8 and defends g7 pawn. That's a common theme in these games, guys. Knight drops back to f1, a6, not letting bishop or a knight to come to g5 square. c3. C3, fortifying and not letting the knight jump in on d4. Bishop drops back, and now I don't commonly see this maneuver. Bishop comes to e3. Bishop comes to e3, and yeah, it's commonly to go to g3 in RUY LOPEZ. Now it goes to e3. We'll see what will happen, guys, in this setup. Knight drops back. Probably, yeah, opening the bishop and remaneuvering the knight to the king's side, where the action will happen. h3 again. G4 square is weak. Not really weak. The knight defends it, but it's still nice to have another defender. Knight remaneuvers to g6, and knight back to h3. Maybe with ideas of f4, or again just covering this g4 square. d5, striking the center from Carlsen. He's trying to open up center and lines for his bishop. E is d5, taking the pawn. The engine suggests g4, but I don't know. Knight takes. Queen comes out and pins the bishop. Carlsen attacks the queen. Again, pinning the bishop, not leaving the pin. Now this knight is starting to walk dangerously on enemy territory, guys. Dangerous walking on enemy territory. Knight take knight, queen takes bishop, and knight takes pawn. Now Carlsen is up a pawn, and the rook is also under attack. Rook goes up, maybe trying to get to rook lift to attack the king. Queen takes pawn. I mean, it's really chaotic here, guys. Everything is the place on board, both sides of the board. It's not easy. It's not easy to defend here. Okay, rook comes to g4. Rook comes to g4, just threatening to take and win and exchange rook for 2 pieces. Queen takes pawn. Lagrave attacks queen. Although I would probably just take the I would probably just take the knight. I don't know what is the idea. Okay, he attacks the queen. Knight drops back. He takes now knight. Knight takes, queen takes, and rook to open file, trying to get not this d1 square is covered, but just getting his rooks on good squares where he can control the game. So Lagrave has 2 bishops and a knight, and Carlsen with 2 rooks and a bishop, and 1 rook for Lagrave also, and queens. So we have 2 pieces and for 1 rook. Okay, knight jumps in. King to h8, just preventing any kind of attacks down or pins down the g file and down the this getting out of this pin, also probably just being cautious. Now Lagrave opens up the a file when this rook left the a file, and his rook is the only one on a file, trying to winning the file, effectively winning the file. Knight drops back, attacks the queen. A little bit of a maneuvering. Queen goes to h5. Knight to f1. Maybe trying to win e4, trying to win space, and just trying to win space. Knight comes to g3, attacks the queen. Queens drop back. Bishop comes out, connecting rook. Bishop to d6, attacking the knight. Knight drops back, doesn't want to trade. Again, queen comes out to h5, knight comes back. Carlsen takes, Lagrave takes with the pawn. It's really unbalanced game. So we have 2 bishops, really strong bishops, targeting Carlsen kingside, and Carlsen with 2 rooks on d and e file, trying to gain something on these files. Maybe infiltrate, attack the king. All right. Rook comes down, attacks the bishop. Just defending with the queen. f5, pressing on Lagrave's position, trying to ram its pawns and destroy the protection of White's king. Maybe another rook lift is on the way. Lagrave tries to chase away the rook. Rook goes back. King comes up, connecting everything here. and Carlsen doubles, threatening nasty stuff. If bishop moves, some kind of fork here is possible on d2 square. He has to be really careful. Rook into the action. Lagrave has enough of a file, transferring the rook to h file. Maybe trying to take advantage of this. Take advantage of this pawn here. Maybe pinning something. We will see. Queen comes to g6. Now bishop to f4. Rook d5. Queen e2. Expanding on the queen side for Carlsen. Pawn b3, not letting any more pawn advances. c4. Pawn takes. Now the pawns are blocked here. Rook defending the bishop. Queen to f6, targeting the pawn. Queen takes the pawn. Queen to b6. Remaneuvering. Bishop to b3, attacking the rook if the queen ever moves. Rook to c5, attacking the queen. Queen just jumps in. f7 square. Now that is it's the 7th rank isn't guarded by any of Carlsen pieces. Rook takes pawn and just fork, threatening mate, and the rook. The mate is also unstoppable. The rook can't come because the g8 square is covered. So this is just end of the match. Rook comes gives a check, trying to postpone the defeat. King drops back on h1. And here there aren't really any more checks. And in this position, Carlsen resigned the match because the checkmate is inevitable. Alright guys, this is it for the match. I hope you had fun. I'm doing this actually trying to learn myself a little bit. So I'm doing analysis of good players playing different openings. And I will do more videos in the future. Primarily trying to improve my own opening theory, game, strategy, and hopefully we can all learn something. So if you like the video, subscribe to the YouTube, and see you all next time. See you. Bye bye.